Hey everyone, it's Andrea, and welcome to Scenes Out of Place. If you don't know, I have a short story book called Scenes Out of Place, where I have multiple stories that feature zombies, dragons, and surviving in space. And there are a couple more ideas that might fit into those worlds, but don't necessarily need a whole new book. I'm bringing them to you in an audio edition. So sit back and enjoy some of the stories that didn't make it to the final edition, but still need to exist. Hey everyone. I know the last couple of broadcasts, information hasn't been wonderful, but tonight I have a treat for you. I received a letter from one of those travelers that came through town a while back, and I think it's finally safe for me to read it. It's from his sister. He came through town a couple of weeks ago, heard one of my radio shows, and on his way back out, he dropped off another letter. I read it, followed the instructions, and now I get to read it to you all. So let's get into it. I am a mermaid. That's such a weird sentence to say. I'm a mystical creature, also known as a mermaid. Half human, half fish. But thankfully, I have a human top half and a fish bottom half, which might make other things quite interesting in the future, but we'll cross that road when we get there. I am the product of a dragon named Fang. I believe I'm one of the first to be turned by him, or her. With the name Fangclaw, you automatically assume male, but there's no reason to believe that. I mean, it's a dragon, right? I'm writing you this letter because you met my brother. Or, well, you made quite an impression of him from your radio show. He said he was going to stop by town. He said he was going to stop through town again on his way back and give you a little surprise. Surprise! I'm the surprise. The letter is the surprise. You're not actually going to meet me. Sorry. But it is wonderful to meet you through this letter. And I am sorry that your town is going through what it is. But I am happy to write to you as your first mermaid. I better be your first. It's weird. The only human. That's weird to write out human. Because just under a year ago, I was human. But now I'm not. But anyway, the only human that I have consistent conversation with is my brother. And I love him. So please, don't say his name or anything identifying about him. Mermaids are being hunted by those who want to collect us. And if they found out that my brother is my brother, I don't know what they'll do to him to get to me. But on a happier note, he said that you had some questions about the transformation process. You met some elves, had some interactions with trolls, so I figured I would finish the trifecta of the new mystical beings. The transformation hurts. It flippin' hurts. It freaking hurts. All the big F words. It hurts. I don't know if children listen to your radio show, and since you're going to read my letter word for word, I don't want to get you in trouble, but it hurts. It's painful, and I felt it all. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back and take you through what it took for me to become a mermaid. I didn't know anything was wrong. I was up kayaking by myself, not too far off land, just far enough where I could look below the water and see the beautiful reefs and the fish in the tropical waters and just everything that was beautiful about the island. You see, I always loved the water. Always. Something about just being surrounded, fully submerged in water is peaceful to me. It's one of my favorite things. Some people like to vacation in the mountains to see the beautiful views from the high peaks. Some people like to vacation in the city and hear the hustle and bustle. For me, it was always water. I always needed to vacation where there was water. Not a pool, but a large body of natural water. Give me a lake too big to be man made. Give me a river that just cut through the earth. Anything that had to do with water, you would find me. And I was on vacation, so I spent every day either paddleboarding, swimming, snorkeling, diving under, just spending as much time as I could in water. I was so pruny, it wasn't even funny. But I was so disconnected from land and what was happening, I had no idea that dragons were waking up. I didn't see it at first, Fang Claw. But when I did, it was beautiful in a terrifying way. The water wasn't that deep. It only came up to my head, and I was about 5'7". And I could see the bottom of the ocean. I wasn't afraid. I didn't see any sharks or any other large aquatic animals, so I thought I was good. And I never saw it until it came out of the water. I don't know about anyone else, but when it looked at me, it looked confused. I think it saw the kayak, the bottom of it, and thought that I was like a small whale or a sea lion or anything like that. But when it looked at me, it just cocked its head to the side, like it was trying to understand what I was. And while it was trying to understand me, I was trying to understand it. Because, dude, it was a dragon. At first, my brain tried to make me think large sea snake. Because, you know, those are a thing. Large anacondas live in the rainforest, you know? So, like, those are a thing. Dragons aren't a thing. And so my brain just would not say dragon, but that's what it was. But it also didn't make any sense because I didn't see it in the water. Like I could see the part that was out of the water, but when I looked at where it touched, it like disappeared. It was weird, but it was also beautiful because the way the sun just shined off the water droplets, it was beautiful, man. Fangclaw is beautiful. But again, it was a dragon. So I was scared, naturally. I mean, I didn't really know what to do. What was I supposed to do? There was no way I could paddle the kayak back to shore faster than it could move. But I also didn't want to die. And then I felt this like strong pull to get into the water. And looking back, that was probably a stupid idea. I was basically putting myself on this dragon's buffet line, so to speak. But I guess getting out of the kayak and into the water was the right thing to do because the moment my feet touched the water, its body wrapped around me. And in that moment, I thought I was going to die because it wrapped its body around mine. And in movies, when you see a snake do that to a person, the person dies 9 times out of 10. I was going to be one of those times. But obviously, I didn't because I'm writing this to you. But I got sidetracked, sorry. It wrapped its body around me and lifted me out of the water. And it stared into my soul like it was trying to understand what I was or what I wanted. And I guess it found it because then it released me and I fell like 20 feet into the water, which was scary, again, because the water wasn't that deep. And I hit the bottom with this hard thud that knocked the wind out of me. I tried to get my bearings and swim back to the surface, but then I found myself screaming underwater, choking and dying because the dragon moved so quickly that in the space it took me to fall into the water, it dived and it was looking at me, its eyes so close I could reach out a hand and touch it if I wanted to. But it was also so weird because in the water, I could barely make it out and I was dying. All I had to do was stand up and I couldn't because the eyes had me, because I was enraptured by it. I didn't know what to do. And then, while it had me in its crosshairs, it sucked in water and breathed out fire. It burned me underwater. It burned me down to my nerves. It hurt so much that if I had any air left in my lungs to scream, I would have, or I did. I don't know. I don't really remember that part that well, but I remember feeling my body burning underwater, which was weird because the water wanted to put it out, but it couldn't. It was impossible by physics. Should have been impossible, but I was also looking at a dragon, so science sort of went out the window for me. But I didn't die, because after the burning stopped, the real pain started. My bones breaking, my legs breaking. I felt the water wash the ash off my skin like a coarse brush, and I felt myself taking a deep breath, and it was still so painful, but I could start to breathe a little. I could take in the water. I felt every single pop and change, every nerve ending being moved, every muscle fiber fusing together, breaking apart. I felt the scales grow. I felt my feet change into fins. I felt my feet web together and grow. And it hurt. It hurt more than anything I had ever experienced in my life. I felt my eyes change. I felt my hands change. I felt my elbows change. I felt the gills grow on my neck. And then once the pain stopped, I could breathe. I could breathe water. I always wanted to breathe water, and now I could. And I could see so clearly. I could make out every single scale and divot on Fang Claw's face. This barely there shimmering beast under the water, and I could see every single angle, every scale, every swish of its tail. I could make it out perfectly. I could see where it ended and the ocean began. I could hear the fish swimming around me, not muffled, but clear. Like we weren't underwater. And then when I looked back at Fangclaw, it was looking at me again, like it was happy. I'm not gonna lie, for a moment I thought it was going to turn on me and eat me. I thought it only turned me to eat me. But instead, it touched its head to mine. That's how I knew its name was Fangclaw. It told me without words, I just knew. And then, with a final look, it swam off. It left me there as a mermaid. So, of course, the first thing I did was practice swimming. I thought I could swim before, but I shot through water like a hot knife through butter, like a bullet through the air. I can swim from one continent to another in just a couple of hours. I am fast. I can swim for hundreds of miles and not be out of breath. It's amazing, the world under the sea. For the next couple of days, I just figured out what I could do, how far I could go, how deep I could be. I swam with whales, with sharks, with fish and other crustaceans. I swam with turtles. They're so cute. And then I met another mermaid, and they had a story like mine. They met Fangclaw too, and Fangclaw saw what they needed inside of them and changed them. And then we swam together, and then we met more. And now we have a whole colony living across the 7 oceans. The worries of surface dwellers don't really apply here. Bills don't know you. Rent don't have to pay you. I just exist. It's so freeing being a part of the water, the calmness, the freedom of not being chained to land. I have no idea what's going to come from this. I don't know what will happen next, but I'm so excited for what I am, for being in the now and the present. The other mermaids don't know I'm writing this letter. I don't think they'll be upset with me, but I want the world to know we exist, that we're peaceful, and that we just want to exist in this new world. I know that just under a year ago, I was human, but it's almost like I can barely remember that life. I don't think you'll hear from me again, but thank you for reading my story. And there you guys have it. A letter from a real life mermaid. I hope I did it justice reading it to you guys. I don't know why I was trusted with it, but I am so thankful. His sister sounds amazing, and I told him I wouldn't read this until he was out of town and safely far away. But sadly, because of it, he will not make his way through town again to protect his sister from those who are hunting them. But if there is any chance you are hearing this, thank you for sharing your sister's story. And I know I can't speak for everyone, but I also want peace with the mermaids. Because we're all in here together, just trying to survive the dragon fires. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Scenes Out of Place Audio Edition. I truly, truly, truly hope that you're all enjoying this because I'm having so much fun creating these. It is scratching an itch in my brain that I've had for so long. But it does take a lot of time and effort to make these episodes. So if you would like to help me or support me, you can take a little gander over to my Patreon page and sign up under author support. For everyone who signs up under author support, your name will be read on the credits at the end of each new episode. Because I want this to be something we all can enjoy, but I might need a little help in doing so. So if you would like to support me, check it out. Otherwise, keep listening and enjoying. And as always, thank you so much for your support.